Hello again. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the impacts of media on our empathy and compassion. Empathy is one of these words we hear all over the place on social media, activist circles, even workplace trainings. And sometimes because we hear it and use it so often, it loses its meaning. Empathy is a powerful thing, and in the digital world, it's also vulnerable to exploitation. In this short video, we're going to slow down and get clear on what empathy actually is, how media distorts it, and why wise compassion is what we want to be cultivating. Researchers often define empathy as having three components. One, cognitive empathy. So that means understanding someone else's feelings or what they're going through, which sounds great in theory, but guess who's really good at cognitive empathy? Advertisers, right? They understand which emotions to draw out of you to get you to believe you need to buy that thing. And the truth is, we don't always know what someone else is feeling, especially online when we lack social context. Thinking we understand can lead to assumptions or judgment or even performative empathy. So, cognitive empathy, understanding cognitively, mentally, someone else's feelings. The second component of empathy is emotional empathy. So that's actually feeling what another person feels. This is what makes us human. It's a beautiful thing. You can think about this when you maybe see on the news that a dog passed away. It might not cause you to feel the same emotion as if your best friend's dog passes away. And feeling every tragedy, injustice, every sad video you see in your feed, that is a fast track to burnout and compassion fatigue. So when we're online, we want to be really mindful and aware of how we're extending our emotional empathy. How much are we allowing the algorithm to tell us how to feel? And the third component of empathy is compassion, sometimes called empathic concern. And this is the desire we have to alleviate someone's suffering, not just to mirror it, right? So not necessarily taking on that emotion ourselves, but feeling a desire to do something to alleviate the suffering. And unlike emotional empathy, compassion doesn't have to deplete us or drain us. It can actually energize us. And this course and the next meditation is about cultivating wise compassion, not pity, not burnout, but grounded, open-hearted responses that help without harming ourselves. And as you've probably noticed, media platforms are empathy machines, often in reverse. So they tend to amplify content that activates our emotions, but strips away the full human context that helps us process that emotion with wisdom. You see a post about a tragedy with no background or connection. You see a friend's joy that's reduced to a selfie. You see a stranger's rage taken completely out of context and then broadcast to millions of people. So short form media trains us to react to emotions without understanding or processing it. And that becomes a recipe for confusion, division, and disconnection. And yes, emotions do travel through the internet, just like in real life. I have a lot of references and studies to share, but we'll get to that in course 3. Essentially, the takeaway I want you to understand here is that your nervous system is constantly processing emotional cues that you're taking in through your media consumption, often without your consent. So we need to be careful, not just with what we consume, but also with what we transmit through the internet. Like I said, we'll get into that deeper in course 3, but for now, know that your empathy and your emotions are a precious resource that deserve boundaries. Media is not a neutral mirror of reality, it's a distortion lens. Platforms amplify outrage, fear, and conflict. Not because the platform or the algorithm's inherently evil, but because that content keeps us engaged. And if we're not mindful of what we're taking in, we start to believe what we're seeing, that the world is broken, that humans are cruel, that nobody cares. And when we believe those things, our empathy shuts down. I can't resist just telling you one story here. So there's a study where they had people watch as little as 2 minutes of a very intense conspiracy theory video. And then on the way out of the study, the researcher would drop their pen or their notebook or something. And so they could test, would the person who was involved in watching that video help the researcher pick up what they dropped? So a measure of pro-social behavior. And it turns out as little as 2 minutes of a conspiracy theory video drastically reduced pro-social behavior. And so people often say to me, oh, it doesn't affect me, I'm fine. It does affect you. So today I want to offer you something different, to pause, to breathe, and to return to your own heart, which is exactly what we'll be doing in the next video as we move into a loving kindness meditation, which is a powerful practice for cultivating compassion without burnout. And it's not about trying to force yourself to love everyone online, but remembering that you are part of this human family and learning to relate to others from that grounded, steady place. You don't have to take on the pain of the world, but you can learn to care more wisely. We'll begin this practice in the next video. I'll see you there.